Well, hello, Band in the Box users. This is Henry Clark, Henry Clark's channel. And today I want to talk about covering, but using a MIDI file, importing a MIDI file, chords only, so that you can create your own type of cover. Now, to me, oh, wait a minute, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I can always use more subscribers. But a few months ago, I made a tutorial on importing a MIDI file. Now, I have one correction to that tutorial, and that's that you don't have to know your styles per se in order to do this because you're using a MIDI sequencer. So the MIDI file that you use, the style that you use doesn't really matter. Um, you don't have to do that. But this way that I'm talking about is, to me, it's even better because there's a big thing, and a lot of people looked at the MIDI file in the MIDI tutorial, and they were totally enamored by it. They loved it, right? And the reason why is because they want to do copies. They want to do exact copies, right? And I'm not a big fan of straight copies, and the reason why is why you want to do a copy, right? The song's already been done. Now you might want to do a cover, but to do a copy, there are a lot of nuances that went into making that actual song, right? They probably had more equipment, they had a bigger studio, they probably had better skills. They had a lot of things that we don't have, the luxury of having, right? And and I'm gonna put a disclaimer up here right now, right up front, just so you know, this every tutorial that I make is how I do it. Band in the Box has a lot of functionality, and the way I do it is my pattern. Somebody may say, I can do this differently, and that's fine. If you can do it differently, that's fine. But for those of you who like what I do, right, these are the strategies and the skills that I use in doing certain things within Band in the Box. So just so you know, so let me get that out of the way right up front. But again, a lot of people love the MIDI tutorial because they didn't know exactly how easy it was, and the book was a little bit strange as far as in trying to pull it together. But this way, I'm talking about just bringing in the MIDI chords only to a song, just bringing in the chords, because when you just bring in the chords, right, you can use your real tracks, you can play around with it, you can set it up with different patterns, and of course, like I said, you're doing a cover and not a copy. And you can still get close to the song. You really can get close to the song. But when you do a cover, not a copy, and I want you to think about something else too. A lot of times when you're a songwriter and you submit a song to an artist, right, that artist doesn't do a copy of your song a lot of times. They do a cover. They may change the key, they may change the rhythm, they may make the song fast if the song was slow, they may make the song slow if the song was fast. So even they are doing a cover of the song, they're not doing a copy of the song. So I want you to think about songs in those terms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a song, and this was a big hit back in the day. It was "Too Late to Turn Back Now" by Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. Right, it was a really popular song back in the day. By the way, no copyright infringement intended. YouTube, just so you know, right up front, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and import only the MIDI chords and melody for that song, and I'm going to play around with it, and I'm going to give it 3 different versions of that song. I'm going to do it in a soul type. I'm going to do it in a reggae type. I'm going to do it in a light pipe pop type, just to show you how you can have different variations of the same song and make it work for you. So again, this tutorial is about bringing in MIDI chords from a MIDI file and then playing around with the different patterns so you can see how you can actually do an effective cover. Note I said cover and not copy of a song. So let me head on over to Band in the Box, right? I'll be back in a second. And we're going to do us some Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose, right? Too Late to Turn Back Now. Mama told me, she said, son, please beware. Anyway, I love that song back in the day. So again, I'll be right back in a second, okay? Hold on. Be right back. All right, so I'm back. So this is what we're going to do now. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to import a MIDI file. A MIDI file only is what we're going to do. We're going to import a MIDI file from a song, and we're going to try to do it in 3 different versions just to give you an idea of how easy this is and how quick this is, right? So I got my Band in the Box open, right? Now this is just a basic pattern I had in here. Don't worry about that. This is not important at the moment, right? What I want to do is I want to grab a MIDI file, right? So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Import. And I'm going to go to Import Chords from a MIDI file. So I'm going to import chords from a MIDI file. I'm going to go to this box and I'm going to open. So I'm going to open, and I got to go and find me some MIDI files, right? I've got a ton of MIDI files. So I'm going to go into my folder, Well, I've got a MIDI library in there, right? And I'm going to take some MIDI files out of here, right? So again, there's Too Late to Turn Back Now, right? Oh, Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rhodes. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to import that file. But what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to go ahead. I'm also going to write the chord summary notes of the soloist track. I'm going to do that. So now when I go interpret chords now, you will see that exactly what has happened is that the wizard shows me that the chords have been imported. Notice these are the chords right here, right? G major 7th, A minor 7th, G major 7th, A minor 7th. Check this out, guys. Now, this whole song was written in 3 chords. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3 chords. It's a 3-chord song. It was a major, multi-million-dollar hit 3-chord song. So that tells you something. Some of you guys out there that think that simplicity doesn't work, right? Well, you need a major 13th in order to make this work. No, you don't. No, you don't. You need to have an interesting melody, good chord structure, memorable hook. Those are the things that you need to have a decent song, right? You don't need to be so complicated. I notice, especially for singers. Now, for some of you musician guys, right, especially your jazz guys, yeah, you probably want to use some of this stuff, these interesting chords. But for most of the time, regular pop music type stuff, you don't need all that stuff. You really don't. And again, I mean, look at Little Richard. Little Richard had a hit called Tutti Frutti. Tutti Frutti now, right? Anyway, I digress. But I took it, I brought the chords, the chords from the MIDI file for It's Too Late to Turn Back Now into my band in the box, right? So now I've got my chords in, right? So now it shows my chords in this window. So now I need to find me a style. So again, I'm going to do 3 different styles here. So the first thing I'm going to do a soul style first, right? Because it is a soul song. So let's try to do a soul sound. And I found a song. I thought this was pretty good. The style here, this 60 soul with the horn section. I didn't like the horns, but I'm gonna throw it in here anyway, right? This is what it sounds like. And that's what it sounds like. Just the straight, pattern itself, right? So let's bring it in here, right? So now I'm gonna bring it in, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute this track right here, which is the actual MIDI chords track. I'm gonna mute that track, but notice, guess what I got here? I got all of my real tracks that I can play around with. So I've got my real tracks here, and my organ, this track here, is gonna actually play the melody. So again, I'm gonna mute this track, right, and generate, and we're gonna be off and running with It's Too Late to Turn Back Now. That's what we're gonna do, right? Again, this is a soul version. And let's see what we get here. Don't like the horns. That's okay. I'll just take the horns out. And this is the song, actually. My mother told me, she said, son, please beware. That's my melody. There's a thing called love, and it's everywhere. She told me it can break your heart. Right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here, right? Again, didn't like the horn section, right? But what can I do? Because of the fact that now I've got the MIDI chords in against the real tracks, I could change those horns. Let's make those horn strings and see what we get here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make those horn strings and see if we can get a decent string pattern out of here. I'll just try this one here and see what we get. Take this off here, and I'm going to regenerate and see what we get with some strings here instead. And like I said, I can play around with it now because I got my chords here, right? I can change the tempo. I can do all kind of crazy stuff. There's my strings. Mother told me, she said, son, please beware. And in case you don't know the hook, right? The hook was to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. It's too late to turn back now. And see, I could actually cover this song if I wanted to, right? So again, I put it in 60 soul, right? But let's try it in another style. Let's try it in reggae and see what we get. Again, we got our chords in, right? So now if I go to reggae, and I had a reggae with ska. So that's giving me reggae with ska. So let's try it in reggae with a ska pattern, right? I like reggae myself. Anyway, so this is reggae with a ska. Same song, same song. I think it's too fast. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. And my melody is still here also, so if I don't know the melody right, put my melody in here. She said, son, please beware. There's a thing called love, and it's everywhere. She told me it can break your heart. So guess what? So now I got reggae, right? In case we want to do the song in reggae. We could change it up. We're going to do it in reggae, right? One more style. I'm going to show you how easy this is, right? So now also, let's just take it. We're going to put it in a little light pop style. See what we get out of light pop, right? So I'm going to change my pattern to light pop. And this was a pretty good style here. And this style, which I really like this style. I think it's a kind of a cool style. Almost like this calypso type of thing, right? Like a Latin type of feel. You know, I don't know why they call it acoustic because it's kind of Latin to me. But anyway, so we thought it just try it against a Latin style and see what we come up with, right? Again, so we still got our melodies here and our chord structure is here. Same song, same song. I like that. Mama told me, she said, son, don't beware. So I can even play around with it. There's a thing called love, and it's everywhere. See, even so, and this is totally off the fly, right? I'm actually in my mind. I'm actually coming up with a different way of singing this song right off the bat, right? You know, instead of the straight thing, I'm adding other stuff. Notice there's no piano here, right? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and see what we can do. Let's just put a little piano in here and see what we get with a piano. We might have a decent piano. So let's use an acoustic piano. See what we get here with an acoustic piano in this thing. I really like that. See, that's something we can work with. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually changing. Same song, different feel. Same. So in other words, I'm doing a cover and not a copy. Mother told me, she said, son, don't beware. There's a thing called love, and it's everywhere. She told me it can break your heart. So again, so guess what I did? So I took the same song, imported the MIDI chords, the chords from the MIDI file into Band in a Box, which gave me the chord pattern. And then I used real tracks to change it to a feel of a type of song that I wanted to do. So again, I did it in soul, I did it in reggae, and I did it in this acoustic funk pop. I don't know, like I said, I kind of call it it's got a Spanish feel to me. But anyway, I did it 3 different ways. So I did a song, I didn't do a copy. I didn't do a copy, I did a cover. And that's what I'm talking about. And doing a cover, I actually discovered maybe a different way of singing a melody that's just a little bit different to make it something that I would want to do. Because again, I don't need to copy the guy that did it. I mean, they already had $1 million hit, right? So what do I need to do that for, right? And the song is still familiar enough that people will recognize it when it starts playing. Now, just to go to show you how easy it is, it's a 5-minute process, right? Again, so I'm going to go just to do one real quick. I'm going to take a song. I'm going to do an import. I'm going to import chords from a MIDI file. I'm going to change the MIDI file to, my guy. Again, I think it was, who was that? Who was my guy? My guy was what? Murray Wells or somebody like that, or Martha Reeves or whatever, right? Notice it says the key signature is set to C, but announcer shows it's likely B flat. So it's going to set it to B flat for me, right? I'm going to interpret those chords. So now I got the chords in, right? Got my B flat right here. Got my B flat right here, right? And it's going to sound terrible because it won't work against this pattern here because that song really was more in a shuffle pattern. Motown used a lot of shuffle patterns, whether it was My Guy or some of the Temptation songs, you know, they were written actually against a shuffle pattern, which was kind of neat at the time. But anyway, so I'm going to find me a shuffle pattern. So let me just go here, and I'm going to show all categories, and I'm going to type in shuffle. And I've got shuffle in here, right? So if I can find a decent shuffle pattern, I had a decent shuffle pattern in mind. Oh God, I forgot what it was. Oh, it was. That's right. It was a, it was a gospel type of shuffle pattern. I'm trying to. I wrote it down somewhere. What did I do with it? Oh yeah, it was gospel. It was gospel. GOSP. It was a gospel pattern that I really really liked. Right. GOSP underscore AS. There it is right there. So it's a gospel pattern. Now check it out. Gospel pattern, right? Put an alto sax. Sounds kind of boring, doesn't it, right? But I can actually use this pattern against a Motown song. That's right. I can use this pattern against a Motown type song. So now when I generate, and again, now I've got a shuffle pattern going. So now I'm going to do this. And this is my guy. Let's get rid of that saxophone because that ain't working. And guess what, guys? I've got my God, my God. Nothing you can take away from my God. Just check it out. See how easy that is, right? So now I can do a cover of my guy. And I don't need a melody. And by the way, why would I sing my guy anyway, right? You know, for me, it would be my girl, not my guy. But just to go to show you how you can do that. So again, what did I do? I went to the MIDI file. I imported the MIDI chords in, found a pattern to play around with, right? And again, what am I doing? I got rid of the saxophone, right? I've got a piano here. I can actually change that piano to a real track. I can change this organ to a real. I can change any of these to a real track, which is fine. So don't worry about the red in here, right? Just that I wanted to mute certain things because I didn't want the video to go on forever and ever, right? But I just going to show you what I did was, again, I always real simple, file, import chord from MIDI file, right chord somewhere in the soloist track, and open so that I can change the actual file that I want to import. And I am off and running. Again, so do you want to do a cover or do you want to do a copy? Me, I like covers. I know some of you guys love copies, but I like covers because if I have a cover, and I can tailor it to the type of music I want to do. So I can take any popular song, get the MIDI file, import the chords, and make it a reggae tune. I can make it a soul tune. I can make it a pop tune. Hell, I can even probably make it an acid rock song if I want to do that. So again, I hope this helps. And again, this is my way of doing it, just so you know. Again, I'm sure there are other ways of doing things in Man in the Box, right? But this is Henry's ways of doing it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe. Always. I can always use more subscribers. And also, comments are always welcome. Some people have actually enhanced my videos with additional tips that I didn't cover. So again, and I can't cover everything, and I don't try to cover everything. And also, I want to make things as simple as possible. I don't want you to necessarily, if you want to go into the sequencer and do editing of individual MIDI notes and stuff like that, that's fine, you know, but to me, it's like, hey, are you really going to take the time to go and tailor each specific note inside of a MIDI file? You know, I think that's like way too much work. For that, I'd rather play the thing over again, you know. But anyway, hope this helps, and I will see you guys next time, okay? Bye.